Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It is Tuesday and it's Tiny Tuesday. So we're having another episode of our Tiny Tuesday. And so this is going to be fun. And we're going to start from scratch for making a tiny little art journal. And there's not going to be any sewing involved in this journal. We're just going to be able to create it right from scratch. And it's going to be easy. It's a super easy project. And one of the things that you can use, an art journal for like this is just practice. And that's really what it is. Hi, Nicole. How are you? Hi, Becky. You guys, it's just such an easy thing to do. And a lot of people think, well, what even is an art journal? Well, an art journal is just a place that you can use to practice, your creativity. And you can go back and, check. Why are my glasses always so crooked when I sit down here? Maybe it's my face. I don't know. So anyway, hi, Cheryl. How are you? So we're just going to make a fun little thing that we can use. And so I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to just do part of this, and then I hope you'll come back because today's episode has a sequel, and that will be Friday night at the pajama party that is going to be in the Crafty Bunch on Facebook. And so we're going to do that, and I will be able to continue this project. So basically, we're going to make the little booklet, and then we are going to stamp some images in it. And I'm going to use some Christmas ones. And so since on Friday my project has to involve some holly, that'll be perfect. So we can just go on from there. But today, our project you could use in so many ways. And I think that it's fun to take projects and ideas to be able to, use them how you want to use them. So today, I want to use this as a little no-sew tiny art journal to be able to do some practice in. So let me put you down here to my workspace. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some paper, and you want to pick some paper for whatever medium that you are planning to use. You need to take that into consideration. So I've got some paper here that's going to work great with my markers. And then so these are regular 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper. You could use, if you want to use something that is going to be paper, well, you just need to pick something that's appropriate for the kind of, media that you're going to use, right? So if I were going to do watercolor, I would need to use something that would at least be, that would take a lot of water. Now, watercolor paper would not necessarily work the best because it's not going to fold that great. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to cut these pages, and I'm going to, well, you know what? It's going to be easier if I just score down the middle of these first. So these are 8.5, so that means it's 4 1/4. So I'm just going to score down the middle. Whoops. So I'm just going to do this start to finish with you, okay? For the building of this little thing. Now, if you were using, when I said that you could use this in numerous ways, one of the ways that you can use this is to take it and use like printed scrapbook paper. That is a cool thing. And then, and if your papers are long enough, you can even fold up the bottom and actually put a pocket on each one as you go. So I'm not going to do a whole bunch of these. And that's kind of the other thing for this is you can just make your book as large or as small as you want, right? So your little journal. So instead of telling about, your adventures or your life in something like this, you're just going to be adding evidence that you have been creative and that you are practicing your creativity. So 1/2 of 11, okay, 5 1/2. So I'm just going to cut these right here like this for each one of these. And the great thing about this is you can just keep adding as many pages as you want. You can do as many or as few as you like. So that is always fun. Don't you love projects like that where you can just, build? You just build your structure any size you want, no matter what it is. It's always kind of a fun thing to just do like that. Okay, so I'm done with that, I think. Well, I'm going to have to use it in a minute, but we're good for now. So now all we're going to do is we can take these pages and fold them on that score line. And this paper is a little heavier. This is, it's actually a light cardstock weight. And one of the things about it's that Nina Solar White cardstock that's about, oh gosh, I shouldn't even say. I'll later put it in the notes so I can tell you exactly what the weight of it is in case you're interested. Well, shoot, where's my, oh, there it is. It's sticking right up there. Now, if your pages aren't going together perfect, just, get them on one edge and then just give them a good burnish and you can get them to straighten out. So now that's straight. I'm kind of interested to see how, I didn't really think this through all the way, so I'm not really sure how many of these I'm going to have. Hi, Lori, how are you? Lori, we're making a tiny little art journal. How many of you have made anything like this? I find that things that are easy to make, it doesn't matter if we've ever made them before. If it's a good idea, why not do it again, right? I mean, honestly, reuse these ideas when you come up with them or when you've had them before, and you can just use an idea as many times as you want because they're your projects. Okay, I got to make this paper behave there. I tell you what, I kind of wish I would have used a different scoreboard so that I would have gotten a little bit deeper score to start with on there. But it's okay. It helped. It helped give it a tiny bit of a score. And that is a good thing. All right. So what did we use? So that's 1, 2. So I just had 3 pieces of paper. Look, I didn't even remember how many pieces of paper I got out. What are you guys up to today? Are you all ready for the holidays? I'm not at my house. We have all these things that we do every day, and then we're supposed to add that on. Hey, Ann, how are you doing? You're just supposed to keep adding on to what you're supposed to be doing, right? So I think what I'm going to do first, before I put these together, is I want to stamp them, because I think if I start gluing them together, it's going to be harder for me to stamp, right? So I'm going to start stamping these, and I'll show you the little images that I'm going to use today. Now, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to use for, you've seen me do some little watercolor techniques lately. Now, this is what I'm going to be using. Let me get it over here and open it. That's noisy, probably. It's noisy here. I'm sure on the other thing it'd be loud too. Oh, okay. You guys, this is one of those totally Tiffany bags. I love those things. I mean, they close great. They're designed well, and they are just perfect. Now, when you've got markers or something like this in them, it's best to lay your markers down, while you're storing them. So something like this, you can put them all in like that and keep them laying down while you're not using them. And so then you can just tip them up and then they're ready to use when you want to. You guys, I saw somebody using this kind of a technique and I had to hunt down these. I've had them for years and I never really used them very much. And when I saw her use them, I'm like, well, that looks super fun. And so I found them. I drug them out. Now, these are called Zig Clean Color Real Brush. And they're a water-based marker. So it's still going to lean a little bit towards our watercolory, look, but, not as much as when we use the brush. I'm going to be using the clear blender pen that goes with them. And so we'll use that. So come back on Friday. Oh, Anne, thank you. That is so sweet of you. I appreciate that. I always appreciate when my friends sprinkle me out. So I've got these little fun things. I'm going to use these. These are the ones that I've picked out. These are some more art impression stamps. And aren't these adorable little things? And so I'm going to be able to put those in here. And I did not check. I'm not sure if any of these are, things that if you wanted to get them, I don't know. This says it was an exclusive. And now I'm wondering if that was one of the things that's only available for a few days. And if it is, and you like them and you wanted them, then I feel bad. If you do, maybe you need to reach out to me. If you can't get them, I could probably stamp a couple for you. How about that? That would be helpful, right? So I'm not going to just leave you high and dry. I'm not going to show you something fun that you think you would like. But some of these products from Art Impressions, they're still using a lot of rubber stamps. And so some of them are rubber stamps. And then some of them, when they are things that you can kind of mix and match, and put things like this little open basket might be something that you would, put some other thing in. I mean, you could even put the tree down in here. You could mask part of it and then layer them. And so when they do things like that, then those, they use stamps where you can see through them, so you can, make sure that you're getting them positioned where you want to. And there are ways that you can position stamps that you can't see through, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So, I don't know, only having those few out here, I'm starting to think I probably have way more than I needed. Now, you guys, I kind of like this size. And, it's the same size that we use so often to make greeting cards, right? So no wonder it seems like a good size to use. And so for small little things, and look, I'm going to have plenty of room when I stamp these, but hey, that's even better. Now, I'm going to use a little bit of the squishy stuff here. Now, I just want to do one layer at a time. Now, this one I think I might use, well, we'll see how it turns out. And I'm not going to get out one of my stamp positioners. I mean, if I use one of the stamp positioners, I could be pretty much guaranteed that everything would look fabulous and it would be all neat. And if I don't get it stamped right off, the first time, then I could re-ink it and it's in the exact same position. But not everybody has one of those. And then if you're curious about this funny looking stamp block that I'm using, it's actually from Crafter's Companion and they call it Rocker Block. And I like them. I find them really easy to work with. And so now I'm just going to use this. I'm going to use the Ranger Archival ink because it'll be good no matter if it's got water to it. It works good with your other kinds of markers. If you were going to use alcohol markers, you could use it with that as well. So, you just have a great choice of what you're going to do, right? So I'm going to lay this down and I'm just going to put him here and who knows, we'll see how he turns out. But then you just rock these. And there we go. I've got my cute little snowman right there. When you figure we're going to, now I wish, you know what? I'm not going to use him like that. Maybe I will do him a second time because what's going to happen is we're going to glue all of these back to back. And then to cover up all of this in the back, I'm going to put another piece of paper over the back. And so my front piece and my back piece are going to have a little bit coming out here. So if we, and I just pulled this out. I thought this would go nice. This was actually one of those 6x6 things that I got from, I think, Hobby Lobby, right? So if I put this on here and run it over a little bit, see, then he doesn't look very centered. It's not really like that. So I should have thought about that before I did something for the front. And I can still do that. I wouldn't mind at all using him for the front because, let me think about him for a second. Okay, you're going to see what kind of a mistake I just made, and I'll fix it. Hey, Molly! Hey, Linda! You guys, welcome in. Molly, I haven't seen you in a long time. Every once in a while, I'll see you pop in. So let's do this. Let's take our piece of paper that we're going to use. Well, what did I do with it? Oh, my goodness. We're going to have another craft scene investigation going on. I've lost my piece of paper already. What in the world? Are you kidding me? How did I just pick that up? Oh, it's up here. It's upside down. That's a problem with single-sided paper. So it's probably going to be at least, this wide, right? To cover. Here's my spine, right? Or here's my fold right here. And there. So I'm going to put this here. Hey, Linda, how are you? Okay. Oh, we were just talking a minute ago. Cheryl says she's not really ready, but she's trying to, she's ready to quit trying. Oh my goodness. I agree. And I have taken the same stuff out of a closet. When we moved to Texas, I decided I was only going to have one closet to put Christmas in, and that was going to be it. That was it. And I've done pretty well. But this year, you guys, I have taken stuff in and out of that closet 3 times and still not accomplished hardly a thing. Okay, now I can see where I want him, right? So that's always a good thing. When you can see where it's going to live. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, so now I'm going to use him for the front. And you know, this is what I was going to say. If we're going to, I could either turn this page like this, because if we're doing back to back, the way I've already got them folded, he's going to have to live, he's going to be hidden. And you know, that's a good way to not have to use that same image twice, right? So I think let's just do that. So, but like I said, I don't really mind. So that means any of the rest of these we're going to do on the inside. I don't mind doing him again because I might use different colors and decide, oh, I like this color combination better, which is the whole point of having an art journal. You're practicing, you're trying different color options. You know, it's just a great way to practice what you're doing, right? So I'm going to take him off. I'll have to go back and do some cleaning of some of these stamps. Okay, so now there's that guy. And what can we put across from him? Let's put a little tree on there. We'll just put a tiny tree. Oh, I know. Let's put a tiny tree and a gift together. How about that? We'll just do that. And here's one idea that you might try. You might lay down your stamp. Oops, make sure they're on the side they're going to stamp. Lay down your stamps. Now, that's a little bit big for that. The present is a little bit big for the tree. But you know what? It's okay. It's for practice. Oh, Linda. Hey, Susan. Oh, my goodness. 2 sheds in an attic. Yeah, I got rid of a whole bunch. Well, when we first moved from Minnesota, we moved to Denver. And there was not going to be any space. And I'm almost surprised I ended up keeping anything. But I did. And so when we moved down here, I had a little bit. So I was glad. You know, it was like some of my most favorite things. But there are pieces that I wish I would have saved. You know, it kind of makes me sad that they did not basically survive the purge of the move. Okay, so now we're going to just put this here. I'm just putting all of these pretty much in the middle. It gives me a good place. Then I can, you know, do whatever I want to around them. Now that one hadn't been inked before, and so it's not quite as bright and dark, but I think that looks okay. So now this one needs another thing. Now I'm not sure how the color is going to lay. You know, sometimes you can see color from the back. Now I'm not sure when we get ready to do that, if that will be the case with these kinds of markers, these zig markers or not. I don't know. And so what I'm going to do is let's skip. Here will be our front. Let's skip the inside cover. And, you know, and then we'll just do that. How about that? How about that? So, oh my goodness, this has 2 pieces. Oh, it folds. Oh, it's taped together. Hey, that's handy. For me, I'm not going to lose that right off the bat, right? Let's do this little elf. He's cute. He is a cutie. Let's just put him on there. And you know what? I'm going to take, let me grab another piece of paper. Maybe, you know what, this seems like it's going to be a lot of pages. Let me find something here. Here's something that I wrote on. It's got meeting notes. I'll turn it the other way and use it for extra paper. You have an obscene amount of Christmas to print. Yeah, I did too. I had tubs and tubs. And, you know, and some of it, frankly, I hadn't used in a long time. And so it really didn't hurt to let it go. You know, when it hurts to let it go, that's when it's sad, right? But, you know, one of the things I let go that I was so sad about later, And I think it kind of became, more and more people are doing more handmade things, right? And I had images from the first Christmas that we were not home. My husband was in the Navy, and the first Christmas that we were not able to come home, I did it up, it was a homemade Christmas, that's for sure. And I used, I found a pattern, a sewing pattern, probably, Simplicity or somebody. And what they had done was they had little fabric ornaments, and it was patterns. And you used small little pieces of fabric, and sometimes it needed a little bit of a styrofoam ball. I know there were pipe cleaners involved. I remember one, and a little bit of, fiber to stuff things. And I remember I think there was a jack in the box. You sewed the box together. And so, it was three-dimensional. And then the jack in the box guy, his head was a piece of fabric over over a small styrofoam ball. And I think you wound a pipe cleaner around a pencil and then stuck in the bottom. So his head, had a little movement. I know there was a tiny little baby carriage that you used pipe cleaners to make the handles on the baby carriage. They were the cutest things. And, we never used them anymore. And now I'm just thinking, well, so what? Even though we didn't use them, I spent so many times like that. Ha 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 ha, Lori. Hey, I think there's a lot of you that do that, right? It's just fun. It's a beautiful thing. It doesn't have to mean anything, really. For me, it doesn't. A Christmas tree to me does not mean anything religious to me. Not the tree. So, there's other things that do, but not the tree. Oh, that was good. Okay, if you keep the ink off of the side, you don't have so much trouble doing that. So I think it would just be easier to put these all like this. So we've only got 2 right now. Let's do another one inside here. And maybe we'll just make a short little version today. Or you know what? I'm going to show you how to finish this off. And then I might continue on. Because Tiny Tuesday is not about taking up a lot of your time. We're going to just use a tiny amount of time as well as the rest. As far as the rest of what it is about, right? So, let me see here. Nicole says, 1 year. Okay, hang on just a second. Where's my mouse? Oh, there it is. 1 year when times were tight, we made cinnamon dough ornaments and decorated the tree that way. Oh my gosh, I bet that smelled amazing. Yes, those little dough ornaments are so much fun to make. I know a lot of people make little, used to, I don't know anymore, because things have changed so much, especially over the last few years, like the last 5 years. But sometimes you would go to a craft sale or something, or a show, and there would be somebody there that had just tons of those dough ornaments. Oh my gosh, they could do the cutest things, right? And I was just always so amazed at how they could, do some of those things. They're just so oh, that'd be great for a Tiny Tuesday, wouldn't it? Oh my goodness. So look at this. As we examine this evidence, we're going to see that these folded papers are going to tell a story, once we open them up, right? We're going to be there. So, you guys, and I tell you what, today when I went over there to the evidence locker to pull out these pieces of evidence of what I've spent, oh, I was so glad that I had them all organized and had any idea where they were. Just to have them all in one place was fabulous. Okay, let's put this little guy back. And here's another little snowman. He's a different one. He's just a baby. He's a baby snow. He's a snow kid. Snow baby. Oh my gosh. Did any of you ever collect those snow baby things? My sister-in-law's mom had like a zillion of those. I'm not sure she didn't have every one they were made. Oh, Preston lace. Ooh. Linda, you've always got some fun ideas, lady. And you know what? That is the one thing I love about our creative community is everybody has such great ideas and they don't mind sharing them. I do not like communities that, well, and I wouldn't even call that a community. If nobody's willing to share, that's not really a community, right? Let's put this little baby snow guy over here. Well, that's cute. Now, I don't know, do we want to chance it and get, and these little baby ones actually had dies that came with them too. So that would be fun. But you know, I know they're small, but I think it's going to be fun for just a little bit of fun practice for using those markers. Well, hey, looky there. There's that. I don't know. I may go ahead and just put these together and see. I'm not sure how that will react when I get ready to stamp the others, but I'm just going to do it. Now, where is my glue stick, you guys? I just want to use a glue stick today and stick these back to back. Well, oh my goodness. Seriously? Okay, 1 second. I'm going to have to go grab one. I can't believe that. I can. I've got one right here. This is why it's good to order things in multiples. Then when you set one somewhere you don't know where you put it, you got to back up, right? You got to back up. So I'm just going to be, you know, these are not going to have to, don't get it real thick, don't get it all lumpy, but these will be easy to put together. And all you do is just put them back to back. And one thing about using a glue stick is it makes it easy to line them up and just kind of pull them to where they're going to straighten up and get them as close as you can to matching up. And if they don't match completely, it's okay. You know, don't fret about it. Okay, so now you take those two and just, you know, give it a good rub. Then we're ready for the next one. We'll just put this on here. So this is just a fun little way to, you know, have, like I said, it's just going to be a mini little journal. There's not going to be any sewing involved. You know, I think what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to actually match the outside edges of the page as I put them together. That seems like a good idea. Maybe. Is it? Time will tell. Okay. All right. Here we go. You know, I actually think that is still smooth enough. I don't think I'll have any problem stamping a few other things on. Okay, and so let's just go ahead and do our last two. And if you wanted to use like double-sided tape, you could do that and adhere these together. You could use liquid glue. But I will say, if you were going to use double-sided tape, I would really, you know what, there's a nasty spot there. I'm going to fold this the other way. I'm glad I saw that first. If you're going to use double-sided tape, I would for sure encourage you to do all your stamping first if you're gonna stamp. You know, you might want to use something else. You might want to use your tiny little journal to do something else. But if you were going to do stamping and you're going to have that tape underneath, it is going to add enough of a texture. So I'm just going to do this one. I got one more here, and that's going to be it. And then we'll put our little spine cover on. We'll cut a little piece of that and just put that over the edge. And if you had like a decorative edge that you wanted to cut on that, that would be fun. Today I'm just going to do a straight edge just so we can be finished, right? Just so we can finish. Okay. And so let's cut a tiny piece. So I know this is, I wonder how much space I'm going to need. We're going to wrap it around. That's probably close to an inch. Yep. Okay, I'm going to cut 2 inches. 2 inches. think that'll be fine. Well, then we'll just wrap it around. And then it is 5.5 tall. Is that right? Yeah, 5.5 tall. Look, that little 6x6 piece is perfect for that. Just perfect. Okay. Alrighty. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for hanging with me there. You know, the way that I have this set up, I hardly ever have any glitches like that. And so when I do, it's a good thing I notice. I don't know. I'm lucky like that. I've got a fairly decent and stable internet. Let me use my scrap piece right here so I can cover this all. And I tell you what, I am also going to add around the edges of this, I'm going to add a little bit of my liquid glue. Maybe. Am I? Oh my goodness. Oh. Oh, you guys, maybe I'm not. Nope, I'm not. Okay, never mind on that one. I'll have to check that out. Wow. That's sad. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, because the front piece is what I'm going to see, mostly I'm going to make sure I get that here. Make that pretty straight. I think that looks good. I think it's okay. And then now all I do is I wrap it around the back. Just like that. You don't have to score it. It'll just curve around and fit there. And now we've got our little booklet. Yeah, so there we go. There's our tiny little thing. We've got some little stamping things. We're ready to practice some coloring techniques. So yeah, come back. I hope you'll come back and join me Friday. And you can check in my, I'm not sure what time it is. I'd have to, I know I've got that on my, I know it's on my page. I know. I should know that. But you know, sometimes we are in so many different things and at such different times, it's hard to keep track even for us, right? So there we go. I hope that you'll try this. I mean, whether you stamp, whether you just want to make your little booklet like this, it is a super easy way to make a fun little, booklet. And if you were going to, you could make a few little, pages like this and give it to somebody, or even give it to a kid to do a little coloring. Now, these images are a little bit small, but I'm just using them because I just wanted small. I just wanted something small to practice on. And when I was pulling out stamps, I wasn't really sure how big of a page I was going to make. So now that I've got this made, and I know that these are half sheets of a 8.5 by 11, I could go to, look at what other stamps I have, and I would see how big, that they would fit. So now I've got kind of a, this could be a standard size that I would, want to keep on hand or, use that size, right? So we'll have to take our notes of that. So you guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. I appreciate you being here, taking time out of your busy holiday schedule, and I will talk to you later. Pop by on Friday night. Check on my page. Oh, Linda already knows. She knows that I'm on at 9 oh, that's right. I remember now. 9 Eastern, 8 Central. You guys, I will see you then. Take care. Bye-bye. And I realized I used the completely wrong paper for that. This is what I need to use when I'm using the zig markers. Remember I told you that what paper you use is important. And that is, this kind of paper is what is perfect to use with the zig markers. And let me show you why. This is how it looks on this Nina cardstock that I used. And what I'm trying to do is use this and pull the color out. So as long as I came back on here to tell you what I have done, let me just give you a tiny little taste of what I'm talking about. There we go. That's better. So now let me show you what's going on here. Let's give him a cute little, let's do a little green hat. So when you're using, now I'll just use this for extra paper. So what you can do with these zig markers is you just put a little bit of color along, the outside edge. That's going to be like where your dark color is. And then you can pull the color out. And you just use this, this blending marker and you just pull it out just like that. Let me put the camera down a little bit closer so you can see. I said I wasn't going to be doing any coloring today, but I think I did want you to see what in the world was going on. So if we put this along here, we can get this color to move with this blending brush. And then you get kind of that look like almost like when people use alcohol markers, but these have more of their water. These are water-based markers, so you've got a little bit more of that, more of the watercolor look. And so you guys, I was so sad when I realized I had done the wrong thing. So you just put your dark along your edges, and then you can just pull that out, and then you just wipe your brush off in between. So you can just work on that and just pull that color out as you need it. And then I'll show you in 1 second what we're going to do. And I'm just going to keep pulling that color out. I mean, see how much that moves with this kind of a technique on this paper? Okay, so that's that paper, and you can just blend that around, and you can still pull more color over and make it darker. I mean, these are so tiny, it doesn't even hardly take anything. Okay, let me show you. I'm still going to use that green, so hang on 1 second. All right, let me re-stamp it, and I'll stamp it on this other paper that I made the little thing with, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, seriously? So if we do the same thing over here, I mean, it's a big difference. The paper you use is incredibly important for whatever you're doing. I mean, it just is. I can't stress that enough. So well, I'm not even going to mess with that. When you're using that Nina Solar White, that cardstock, it is perfect for doing alcohol markers. For this, not so much. So let me show you. I'll just put a little bit of the color along here. I'm just going to do that much. And then I'll pull it. That's it. That's as much as it will pull on this kind of paper. I mean, that's a big difference. Now I just have this big solid dark color and I can't really get it to move, right? So that's why I said it makes a huge difference. Now I can still use the other little booklet I made, and I can use that for colored pencils or whatever I want. It's not going to be good for using for water, for water based. Like if I actually wanted to do that watercolor technique, it's not going to work. So I'm going to redo my little booklet and use the right color, the right kind of paper, so I have it for Friday night. Okay, so I'm going to redo this. So I didn't want you to think that you'd miss something. So just a short update on using correct paper.